if any of you read it, Justine McCarthy in the Sunday Times today says Cora snubs church abuse inquiry. And according to Justine, Cora, the Conference of Religious of Ireland, has advised its members not to cooperate with an investigation of child protection in the Catholic Church. The organisation has claimed, quote, legal issues, unquote, mean it is not able to provide information to an inquiry established after the Ryan report on abuse in institutions run by religious orders.
I think we're down here to a legal issue, which is that if you say sorry, you're going to be held liable. A chequebook is not far behind, and the institution must be terrified of being stripped effectively of all its assets if claims are made, and this acknowledgement by way of an apology is treated. We've seen already situations where the Christian Brothers say they were advised by their legal advisor not to contest liability, which is a lawyer's training. That's what you do for your client. Yeah. But an apology is, in so many cases, an admission of liability, which I think is at the core of not saying sorry.
Just to push it beyond the legal point, though, I mean, the impression that I've often got when Benedict talks about this and sort of skirts around the issue somewhat is that if he fully acknowledges his own role in all of this, then the implication is he would have to resign.
Yes, it is.
And I think it is one of the great difficulties about his position that, for example, when he doesn't force others to resign, it's hard to take that this is real as sort of a vote of confidence in certain individuals. I think it's just that the logical moving up the chain is that ultimately it is hard to believe that he is whiter than white in this entire issue. A full admission means he has to resign. And I guess for a variety of reasons, be it personal reasons that he wants to cling on to power, or again, if it's this notion that popes don't resign, or whatever it is. But I have to say, in watching the Pope, and I guess we all sort of think back to the, 79 or 82 when he visited Britain, and the sense with religious leaders in general, they're always interesting people to listen to because of their perspective and the reflection that they give on major life issues and everything like that. I have to say, I just see this as a man who is part of a political edifice who is clinging on to his position of power. And I have the same feeling about a whole range of them. So when he talks about the modern evils of materialism and secularism, I mean, to my mind, he's clinging on to power in exactly the same way a variety of other people are. It just, the entire thing, I have to say, leaves me rather cold at this stage. And I think until there's a real clearing out, the Minister made reference to the need for victims to move on. I think it's very, very difficult to move on when still senior people are in the positions that they're in.
Isn't that a point? I mean, if you were raped as a child, and if you think that people who in any way were responsible, not directly, clearly, but that there's still an element of, let's move on, it's terribly offensive.
I hope I didn't mean it in that way, or I came across it in that way, because I felt that there was a need for an apology to allow people to move on. And having met with victims, you certainly realise the extent of the hurt that is there, that hurt is continuing, and they really need an opportunity for somebody to say, I apologise profusely for what has happened. But there are legal implications.
There are legal implications. I was going to go back to you, Andrea, and that, like, one of the things as a broadcaster, very often you might like to say to somebody, look, I'm really sorry about that, the way I'm sorry the way that, but you'd be slaughtered if you did.
Yes, you'd have had the likes of me coming down and saying, don't apologise.
Yeah. But presumably if you're a religious order, you've taken a vow of poverty?
You may have individually taken a vow of poverty, but I don't think the institution. I remember going to visit St. Peter's in Rome for the first time and just...
You were struck by the poverty.
Gobsmacked. It said to me, it was one big message of, we are big, we are powerful, we are wealthy. Don't mess with us. That was the statement made by Rome. By Batt.
Yeah. Marion, I think Sean made a good point, though, as well, that the overall impact, notwithstanding that we're all, I think, here very unhappy that the Pope didn't say more on the horrors of child abuse, but the impact of the visit to the UK has been quite striking in that wider sense that, watching the BBC and Sky News and indeed reading some of today's papers, I mean, there was a sense that he has made a very big impact, and I think some of his comments, even on the first day of his visit on Friday, where he was talking about the need for Christian values in a society, and where he was deploring, for instance, the moves by some people who would say, "Oh, we can't even celebrate Christmas now because we might give offence to non-believers," and he was decrying that development.
I'm with him 100%.
Exactly,
on that,
I think his whole kind of encouragement to people in Britain to retain and embrace Christian values is something that I think
of their history.
Exactly, and he was reminding of that, and I thought that was a very very powerful message, which I think was received very well across the UK media.
I believe so. Listen, I'm going to have to take a pause here because we have to go. I don't know